I'm Alex.
I'm James.
And I'm Dan.
We're the Ragamuffins.
And who's going to headline Download Festival 2024? I mean, we've just come back from Download Festival, so I reckon let's talk about next year. Who could be on top of the bill? Who's going to take that coveted spot to close off the nights? Going back to 3 days next year, I think that's important to know.
We know that. All right, so we'll try and predict 3 headliners each. And who knows, maybe come back to this video, see if any of us are right. Who's got an idea first?
I mean, I think one that gets discussed a lot in the minute, which seems to be a bit of a lock, is Avenged Sevenfold. With the latest album coming out, they haven't played Download in a little bit of time. They're kind of in that pool already of Download headliner bands, so I think that definitely they're going to come back around at some point, and when better than next year, after coming off a rocky album, let's say.
A new album, and let's leave it
a new album, okay. It does feel like it could be time for them to come back. There seems to be a lot of buzz around them playing live shows again.
I'm with you on that. I think Avenged Sevenfold are pretty much,
maybe
80% of the way there. I think they're pretty likely.
Strong.
So in terms of picking another one, until pretty much yesterday, I had a feeling about Foo Fighters.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like with this year, Download trying a few different things, kind of mixing up the lineup a little bit more. It felt like maybe of the bands that are big enough to headline that haven't yet, Foo Fighters are maybe the front runner. New album, bit of a comeback, but they've just announced the UK Arena tour for June, which usually will rule them out of paying.
It means that's probably a no-no, which is it's a shame because
it's not like they're just playing one date as well. They're doing a couple in London, they're doing Manchester,
6, I think, isn't it?
They're doing Birmingham.
Yeah.
So some people think that means that they're going to play Download, they're certain, but actually it means they're probably not going to. But anyway, that's a band that won't be headlining Download. In terms of bands that could be, sadly, I think System of a Down are probably in the mix.
Why sadly?
I was about to say that as well.
You can just kind of tell their heart's not in it anymore, isn't it?
I mean,
That's true.
It's a shame because they're a new metal band that I've got to kind of like check off the list. After seeing Disturbed this past year, I was like, cool, there's another one. And there is like the nostalgia of the songs that like everyone knows. You can imagine Chop Suey, BYOB, Toxicity as songs that are just going to go off. But there is that sadness of knowing there's so much disruption and issues within them as a band. Disorder.
That's really got Alex.
We never turn down an opportunity to sing on this channel.
No, we don't. We love it.
We get these mics in our hands.
Yeah.
We start singing. It's like karaoke. But yeah, there's so much like conflict within them. It just makes it feel so disingenuous. And as much as there's a part of me which is like, yeah, sick, it'd be cool to tick them off the list and say I've seen System of a Down. There is that part of you which is like internal debate of are they actually enjoying performing live together?
But anyway, the main reason I think they're probably going to headline this year, or likely to headline next year, is that they were meant to do it in 2020, and then they were on the posted for 2021, I believe.
Yeah.
And then they kind of disappeared off of the next one. So
It's like they owed it almost, isn't it?
yeah, pretty much, or like at least due a return.
You've both picked the first 2 picks that I had in mind. So I'll throw another one out, and it's a returning headliner, but one that I think would actually be welcomed, and it's My Chemical Romance. They obviously went on hiatus for quite a few years. They're back now. They've already done UK headline shows in Milton Keynes, so I feel like we're probably due a festival return. Where better than the headline spotted Download, I think. I think it'd be brilliant.
Have we got any ideas about any newer bands that haven't played before that you think could headline? I've got a couple of ideas.
Well, I've got one. Maybe it's too soon, but I watched them this year play second stage, and the sheer number of people there was ridiculous, and it's Ghost. People love that band. It's not our cup of tea. We don't like them. James is dreading the thought of it. But I think even with just the amount of production they had on second stage was really quite something to behold. I think you give them main stage headliner slot and an hour and a half to 2 hours of a set, I think they'll put on a hell of a show. Not our cup of tea, like I said, but I think if Bring Me the Horizon's headline set did anything for the Download, because it's confirmed that new bands are needed and welcome, and I think Ghost are probably the next band to do it.
I do think they would do a good job. I think they'd probably need a year away first.
Yeah, I can understand
To
that.
kind of get that demand to kind of pent up a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see them doing it for sure.
How about the idea of not necessarily like a new band, in terms of like current, more recent, but what about just a new band? A bit like you said with Foo Fighters. A name that I've seen thrown about because of a 20-year anniversary next year has been Green Day. 20 years since American Idiot. A major...
Isn't it like an anniversary for Dookie as well? Is it?
That might be 94.
Might have been.
That does sound about the right time.
Should we
but
fact check it?
Let's fact check it.
Let's go.
Came out in 94.
Ooh, okay. So like,
so it's an anniversary for
Stars-
Dookie and
stars
American
do be
Idiot.
aligning. They've never played Download before. The nostalgia hit for so many people, myself included, straight away. Like, Dookie on a phenomenal album, I'm just going to straight up say, but from American Idiot was a turning point for me musically in terms of the direction and
so many other people as well.
yeah, just kind of like the path that it led me on with heavy music. I owe a lot to that album, and to see either that played in full or at least just to see them, I think, at Download Festival to celebrate so many of the bands that are lower down on that bill, that even though they might be heavier to some degree, that they have actually influenced, I think would be something very important. It'll be a really big celebration, and I think they would fit in so perfectly with the Download crowd. Whether it happens...
it's something we talked about in our the problem with Download video, of Download kind of needing to not be a metal festival anymore, and not be like just a heavy festival, but just be an alternative music festival in general, especially with Reading and Leeds kind of going the direction, whatever direction it's trying to go in now. There's this new pool of bands like Foo Fighters, like Green Day, like maybe Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Blink, Paramore,
that aren't gonna fit in at Reading and Leeds anymore, that will need a UK festival for them to headline, and either that's going to be a new one that comes through, an existing one that expands to be bigger, or Download.
Yeah.
And I think it makes perfect sense for Download to be that place for a band like Green Day to go and headline.
Very much agreed.
Speaking of bands that may have headlined Reading and Leeds and might move to Download, this band technically didn't headline Reading and Leeds because they pulled out. But I'd like to see Rage Against the Machine at Download.
Oh, yes.
And I think they would be an excellent headliner.
Yeah.
They've been away for... Oh, they have headlined before?
Yeah, I think 2011.
Okay. Well,
I'll fact check that in the edit.
they'll do it again then.
Yeah.
They can do it again.
They've
been away for a while.
Yeah.
They were meant to play Reading and Leeds twice, and they didn't twice.
And Download's a much better fit.
Yeah, and it's run by the same people that run Reading and Leeds.
With it being Live Nation for both of them, with that, Sister of a Down previously had a booking owed to them. It's a wonder if Reading and Leeds have said somewhere down the line, depending on the direction they take.
I don't know, you saw how badly they went down when they were announced for Reading and Leeds. It
But then I think there was a lot of also
isn't their lineup.
Discontent and unhappiness at the fact that, what was it, the 1975 replaced them. There are a lot of people who are quite annoyed at that. So
Also,
I think
a
there
lot
were
of people that were very happy at that.
Yeah, but you're going to get a mix with it. I think it really does depend on Reading and Leeds and the direction they want to go, and then Download and the direction they want to go. Although the 20th anniversary has just been and gone, it feels like we're in very murky waters for the future of festivals, I think, in terms of how is it going to progress, because I mean, we could get, and no disrespect to them, we could get like a Def Leppard churned out again, an Iron Maiden churned out again.
Well, I was about to say, let's switch gears and say, are there any legacy bands that you think maybe haven't been around the circuit for a while that might come back to Download next year? Bands that have been away for a good few years.
I've seen Aerosmith rumoured on the forums quite a lot.
They are in a farewell tour apparently. Although every legacy band's in a fucking farewell tour.
I mean, Kiss have been on one for about 5 years.
Kiss will do it again in a couple of years.
Yes. Keep
But you'll be happy
keep
about
the ball rolling, guys. Come on.
Um,
How would we feel about Aerosmith?
I will definitely want to miss a thing.
Very good.
I'd sit at the top of the hill and see how it goes.
That's what I did in 2017, and they were really boring, so we left.
There you go. I need not bother. What about AC/DC?
I'd take an AC/DC.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that.
I don't know if it'd happen.
I wouldn't mind it. But I feel like for me that there's a lot of these legacy bands that it just doesn't tickle my fancy with it. I'm not intrigued.
This is reminding me of an absolutely, like, in my opinion, a mental name I've been seeing thrown around in the forums and stuff. Status Quo.
Jesus.
Firstly, half of them are dead. So, yeah, what's going to go on there?
Yeah. And I think the remaining ones that have all split off into like their own version of Status Quo.
Status Quo, yeah. So which version do you get?
Coglin's Quo headlined a festival in our hometown
Christ.
2 years ago.
I've got one more that it's more of a sentimental thing because I would like for him to have that one last hurrah, but I just don't think physically it's possible. It's Ozzy.
Yeah, I could see you saying that.
I feel like we need... He's done so many farewell, final tours, whatever. I feel like we really like...
I guess the thing is, if he was... It's touring that he's got the struggle with, I think, mainly. Because he had that farewell tour booked like for so long. But he's planning to do that festival in the US, isn't he, in October?
Yeah. I can't
remember the name.
The Power Trip one, yeah.
If he can't do a tour, then maybe he'll just do one last big show.
What better place than Donington?
I've got another name that's... Again, well, I think we've kind of gone beyond predictions now. We're just sort of throwing names around.
Yeah.
Another interesting name I've seen around, which I wouldn't mind, to be fair, is Bon Jovi. I can see it.
And I wouldn't mind it either.
I think it's one of those that you're like, nah. But then when you actually think about it, it's like, yeah, that would be a good time.
It'd be fun.
And it'd actually be a bit different.
And I think, like I said a minute ago, you got legacy bands that just can't cut it anymore. And I don't think Bon Jovi are there yet. I think they'll still put on a good show.
I don't think they're too old yet.
Yeah.
Any other names floating around?
I had one. Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know if they're headliner level.
Who?
Are they even still active? Are Nine Inch Nails still active?
Or they're one of those bands that tend to like go through little
phases.
Yeah. How would we feel about that? Can't tell. Are they big enough? I think so.
I don't know.
I think they're probably big enough.
I think they're a Saturday night headliner.
Yeah, not
quite closing the weekend.
To close off the weekend, not the big opening one. Yeah, maybe
Saturday night, sexy, depressing vibe. Maybe.
So I reckon if we each have an idea in our head, an actual prediction, Alex, what 3 bands are going to headline Download Festival next year?
I'm saying it now. Avenged Sevenfold, System of a Down. I don't think they're going to do a new band next year. I think it will be another legacy, and I think it will be Aerosmith.
Dan?
Avenged Sevenfold, System of a Down, Rage Against the Machine.
I think, well, we're 100% agreement on 2 of them. Avenged and System, I completely agree with. I think Def Leppard, I think they're going to have them back pretty soon. And I know.
That's a shame.
Dan, I feel your pain.
Def Leppard, more like, I wish I was deaf.
Or a leopard.
Or a leopard.
Let us know in the comments who you want to see headline Download Festival in 2024. If you haven't already, check out the vlog of this year's Download on our channel now. It's a bloody great time. And why not subscribe? We'd love to hit 1,000 subscribers. That'd be pretty cute. So why not help us out?